is up, y'all? And to welcome to tonight's Skeptic and Ranting Poof or Dun dun dun. That's right, where we are asking the Doug, the Pine Creek philosophical experiment, where we ask ourselves, if God were to kill everyone, one more time, like he did in the days of Noah, would you poof them out of existence or drown them? Ugh. So won't you join James W. and myself, Amy Newman, for a good time worth poofing into or drowning? What is up, y'all? That's right. Today's episode is another attempt at Amy trying to spread the LGBTQ agenda onto Pine Creek. Come on, Soros, you have to give me better funding. But no, I have enjoyed his philosophical experiment and his question of just asking, poof or drown? That is, Noah has been coming up to me a lot, very specifically, the ghost of Noah. And he's like, wasn't that kind of crazy? And I was like, that's right, hallucinatory Noah that I'm seeing in front of me. It was kind of up. And so, yes, in my argumentation just recently and regularly with creationists and Abrahamic religious people, it has inspired this episode because, man, they are the only people that will defend not only slavery, but just a guy who killed, and I always have to put the asterisk, and that's how somehow he becomes the good guy. He killed almost everyone. Because, James, if he killed everyone, he'd be a bad guy. But if he leaves some people, he's the good guy.
But if he killed everybody, there would be no one to worship him. So, I mean...
Exactly.
Because that's what this is all for. Your life is meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. You only exist to glorify him. That's it. Anything you want is evil. All your thoughts, everything is evil except for your love for him and your worship of him. That's the only real point to life.
Which is not thought crime.
No. If you're thinking in your head about anything other than how much you love him and worship him, that's a sin. That is wrong because you could be using that time to worship him. So
could be
stop.
On your knees.
Yes.
For Daddy. I mean God. I mean the Father. One of those.
He's the Father, and he's the Son, and he's the ghost of the Son. So he's all three. But he's not. But he is, but he's not. You see? Yeah.
Exactly. If you don't think about it too hard.
Read the Council of Castledon or one of those other councils. They probably broke it all down for you.
There was the Lord of the Ring meetings for the Trinity. It all makes sense.
That was the Council of which church council was that?
Alderaan. I remember it.
There you go.
Anyway, we want to send love to all of you. You can send love by liking, following, subscribing, all of the things that you hear, all of the other wonderful podcasts. I was going to say everyone has a podcast, but that's a good thing. I'm going to continue to go against the grain. If you want to have a podcast, more content. In fact, we need more skeptic content creators. This is the era where we're trying to push out information, not misinformation. I don't know. Just sending love to all the people out there, because, flat eartherism was like a thing for a good, well, I guess thousands of years ago, but also like for like a good 5 years. And I'm pretending it's not a thing right now on the internet. But also because of religion. This was all because I said like, follow, subscribe. Anyway, like, follow, subscribe.
Well, I mean, yeah, Amy, but come on. What we really have to talk about is how the vaccines are mind control for Satan. They're going to turn you into robots that mindlessly worship Satan.
Yes. Specifically,
don't you know Bill Gates? He donated money for vaccines, and he's connected with the Rothschilds and the Soroses. It's all the lizard people. It's all happening. It's all true. Yeah.
Exactly. I was going to say made for Satan, funded by Soros.
For Satan, though. That's who it's really all for Satan.
Of course. He's called the Lord of Darkness for a reason. I mean, come on.
You want to think like, you give your kids vaccines. Maybe they won't get sick and die. Maybe. But they'll grow up to worship Satan.
Also, if you want to just bat away any anti-vaccinator, all you need to do is ask them, what is a vaccine? Just very simply, what is a vaccine? Because I have, almost like every time I talk about how every anti-LGBTQ person is either religious or gay, and I always get flack for that.
Or both.
Ask or both. Yes, both is actually a common flavor I have found. But also, if you just ask someone who doesn't like vaccines, what is a vaccine, you will almost inevitably get, what do you think of a vaccine? Well, thank you. That's not really how Jeopardy works, but okay. A vaccine is taking the agent, the virus, the thing that is bad, and then we kill it.
The gay.
Yes. And we take the dead virus, and then from that dead virus, we create, hopefully in reaction or some sort of signal to your immune system, that when we put it into another person's body, your body goes, hey, now we have a blueprint. Hey, look at this. It goes like this. And
now
this.
I want to worship Satan.
Now I want to worship Satan. Yes. And
now
then
I want to suck a dick.
I'll worship Satan and is gay. But in all other situations, generally speaking, your body just makes antibodies.
No. They put the chemicals in the water. They turn the frogs gay. Then they put the frogs in a blender. They blend them up and they put them in the vaccine. So that you'll be gay for the gay frogs.
And then everyone will turn gay. Sinister is saying mRNA vaccines do not contain the pathogen. How do they work? Do they just work
the spike proteins? Part of it, the spike. I think it's the RNA spike proteins. Like that's the COVID thing. But Amy's breaking it down in a very simplistic way to try to.
That's still using part of. That's still using part of it. I guess
to
that's
convey
just
information.
Yeah. Yeah. But they, generally speaking, seem to think that it's this robotic chip that we are putting inside them. That's why they're species specific and why we have to adjust to them when they evolve. Okay, the spike protein, like James was saying.
Proteins, yeah.
Okay, but still, it's using the virus still against itself, or at least maybe a piece of it. Stop. Break it down. What's up, Ember? And now that we're saying hi to everybody, I should say, so you can like, follow, subscribe, so that you can hit that bell icon to all, so that when you do hit it to all, it's like, okay, I'll actually send you reminders, and we can see you in premieres and in our live chat. Like, what is up? What is up, Ember? What is up, Sinister? What is up, y'all? What is up, Desolation Alley and Maya? Everyone should check out Maya's stream because she was what I had a Christmas marathon stream, and she led into me, and then I led into another fantastic YouTuber, which is at the end of their link is at the end of my stream, and so you should all check her out. And that was a fun stream. You should all check Stephanie out. Stephanie was live today with, was it Arden? I believe. Regardless, you should check Stephanie out on the Transatlantic show. You should check out Victoria. Woo, what's up, Victoria? Woo, what's up, everyone? What is up? Keep on saying hi to us. We'll keep on saying hi to you. And yes, I'm glad. I'm so happy that the Transatlantic show just exists because it has a good audience from just being the line programming, which I love, just all of their skeptic content, but that also allows them to have a reach to, I just see a lot of, how should I say this, confused people out there. And I know that they always use that word against us, against trans people, but I've almost always found it's almost the opposite. That trans people have almost, and James, we're 12 minutes in and I'm already talking about the LGBTQ agenda. But Soros has said I have to up my quota. But I find that rarely, like, we're confused often at the beginning of transition, or maybe all of the years that it took. But I found that there's kind of a wrestling with oneself, and then like a nice calm that allows us to do whatever we want. And then the people that come to us are the ones that have questions. But, that's just my 2 cents on that. That's why I love them, among many reasons. And the show and the platform. And okay.
It is a good show. Definitely.
So sending love out there. I am going to have an opening. As I told James, I'm going to have at least like a little thing. Because it's just been on my mind. Because when they want to get intellectual, now it's just the cosmological argument. Now it's just, everything is contingent on these lady bees. And then if it's like anything deal with the Bible, all I can think about now is Noah. Like just the drowning. And Moses. The hardening of Pharaoh's heart. That's another one.
Sir, this conversation is being recorded.
Sending so much love, Sinister. That is the thing. I want to give.
He says
like you
nothing.
said it, and I have an overwhelming amount of love for Chris. Like almost like there's love here, and it's like trying to pillar over.
I mean, you have he comes on and he listens to us say things that obviously go against what he believes very much to his core, and he just listens to it. So a lot of people don't like to listen to the other side, so got to give him credit for that.
Though I will say there are skeptic theists out there, skeptic Christians, Muslims, Jews, skeptic Hindus, and Buddhists oftentimes are atheists. That's probably getting forward to doing shout outs.
They're not.
Safarians, I love.
Well, good to see you out there, Mubarak. Wow.
What's up, Mubarak?
Mubarak. Good to see you, man.
Everyone should check him out on R and Ron's show because he does fantastic breakdowns. Yes.
Not to mention silliness contained in that book. Yeah.
And it does have a lot of silliness. It's one of the rare times that I ask because I feel like I try to be as kind as possible in real life to all the theists I can in my real life interactions. I say assalamu alaikum to anyone wearing a hijab. However, I have read passages in the Quran, and some of them are quite silly. The ant is still my favorite, just because of how silly it is.
But I mean, it's funny if you talk the way Muslims talk about it. They talk about it like, oh, the Bible, that is such intellectual dribble. But you go to the Quran, and it is just so much more coherent. It's intellectual, and you don't understand how much more intellectual the Quran is, Amy. It's completely different than the other religious texts.
They have to do that because just like it's like, listen, I know that 1 and 2 were amazing, but let me tell you, this third one over here, oh my goodness, we got it right this time.
They corrupted the Bible. They changed it and made it look like it wasn't an Islamic text. No, it was Islamic all along.
And I hear my favorite Christian apologetic for this was, there's some passage in the Bible where they're like, look at what he said. It said Muhammad said follow the Bible. What did the Bible say? Follow the Bible. It's like, there you go. The Quran is tainted. You can't follow. They all go back and forth, and they're all silly. And yeah.
I was watching today just an article.
What's up, Jim?
Not an article.
Sorry.
A video about the new courts over there in Afghanistan, the Sharia courts that have been set up. Since the Taliban runs the show over there now.
Yes, it does sadden me when I read articles and it talks about the Iraqi government and stuff like that. I'm like, that's the Taliban. But whatever, I push that to the back because we have to fight religious wars on, the worldwide front. Not wars, because that's the wrong way to say it, because I don't think we're ever going to. I would never hurt anybody. The way that I want to, convince people is through conversation and discourse. But I do think that we have to at least offer alternatives. Woohoo! What's up, Jen?
And I think
What's up, Pragmatic Crystal?
I think we do that so much better. I think, the Islamic world, they have to have so much culture and so much suppressed from them to make them just go along with this. Like Pornhub and Grindr will just decimate like Islam and Saudi Arabia, all these other countries. If people could just live life.
And that's some people, I think, hear what we're saying, and I think that they can almost interpret, say, they'd say a colonial type of mindset or an expansionist, and I would say to that, no. What I'm saying is that when you take away religion, you get secularity, and it doesn't matter what culture, it doesn't matter what religion. When you take religion out of it, you get this secular type of government that all the government focuses on is being the government. And that's all. That is what our shtick is.
Well,
take religion
it's used
out.
As a form of control for the population, because you think all those Saudi princes, you think what percentage of them do you think actually believe it versus don't? And if it's 50%, that would surprise me. Okay,
the more education,
they're doing the thing. They're living their life. They're flying on their planes, drinking their expensive drinks, while the people are marching around that Kaaba, spending their entire life walking around it. And that's what they want. They want the people to be wasting all their time worried about following all these laws and ordinances and religious practices, so that they can do what they want to do.
Well, I do sound like I'm quoting Marx, but religion has always been more of a trend, not always, more of a trend when you are in a poorer, more rural place. And the elites, the people with education, the ones that have access to technology, they are going to secularize. And it's going to be, unfortunately, in places like that, it's going to be from a top-down system. And as access to technology gains ground to the lay people and it starts to build bottom up, you will find then people are going away from religion. But one of the most pirated books in Saudi Arabia right now is The God Delusion. So there is hope, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, it's not just about Islam. I don't want to act like it's one or the other. I think we are just first come, first serve. And at our cafeteria, it's whatever comes to us is what we tend to, serve. There tends to be a lot of Christians that we deal with here. We tend to talk about a lot of fundamentalist Christianity. I think that worldwide you have Islam. However, the far right Jews aren't exactly doing great things either. And so, just the Abrahamic religion. Do we need it, folks? Do we? I mean that in the best, most loving way possible. Because if you have family that are Abrahamic, I don't want you to think I'm
Let's
against
face it, a lot
them.
of us do. Most of us don't do.
Most
have
of us
family
do.
who still call themselves religious or believers.
Exactly. And,
maybe varying degrees of secularity, how devout they are, but at the end of the day, they would consider themselves to be theists.
And so many in this country, 40% plus, whatever, are creationist. It's a lot. That's a big portion. If 40% of the population was gay.
There's a lot of cognitive dissonance in that, but,
Oh, sure. Well, and they're becoming more cafeteria and more Sunday school Christians every day.
Because I swear, you could ask some people, one day ask them, oh, when did the dinosaurs die? And they'll tell you, 65 million years ago. And the next day you ask them, did Noah take dinosaurs? Well, I guess he would have had to take dinosaurs on the ark, right? I mean, they were animals. So it's like they wall off their brain and they operate in two worlds, basically.
And that's probably most, is they have a religious side and a science side.
And they don't ever think about it because the religious, they're trying to smoothen those out. Hey, don't even think about that. Don't even just keep going to church. Don't think about whether it actually matches up with science or reality. Just keep coming and keep paying,
That's right. Just keep on putting money in the tray. Keep on tithing.
Shoveling
What's
cash
up, left-handed Jan?
into the collection plate, or blank checks, or jewelry, or your watch, whatever.
Religion. The easiest way to get rich. Signed, L. Ron Hubbard. Need to do more Scientology. Though maybe.
Although you want to look out your window and see that van up there trying to monitor you.
What? Tom Cruise? What? It's okay, Tom. You can come out now. It is a great business model.
Checking on you.
But we are talking about Poof or Drown. We are asking the question, if you had God come to you and ask you whether you want to kill someone by drowning or poofing, and there was no third option, there was no get out of, drown or poof free card, which would you choose? Both have implications. I'll go over in a second. I saved thousands of dollars on taxes by switching to Jesus. That's right. Jesus, take the wheel of my taxes. What? Why is the IRS coming for me? I said everything I had to Jesus. Oh my goodness!
I'll tell you, I'll tell you, what other business model is a great business model? Car insurance. It is the biggest scam in the world. You have to have it if you drive, so you can't not have it. And what that basically does is it sets. You can buy a policy that's completely worthless. It might have zero practical value to you, but they price it as the price of driving. How much is it worth to you to be able to drive? And that's the new price of it. It's not, you're not paying for the product, you're paying for the privilege to drive. And then because of that, we get to, in essence, pay for our own torture by being bombarded on all forms of media 24/7 with car insurance ads. You can't turn on the radio or the TV or online for more than like 3 minutes without hearing 5 different ads. And you tell me they have to charge the rates that they charge? No, they don't have to do that. They're making so much money, they can piss it away on all this advertising. Oh, there's
Just
Victoria up there. We'll get to that.
Just to pivot off that, not only do I think that I agree with you that insurance is just, I go after good insurance because I think that you almost have to, but I agree with you. Not only is it a scam, but I think that things like health insurance, the profit motive should just be entirely taken out in America.
Well,
I think other countries look at us and go, what the are you doing? But then you always have someone that says, America, that's what you have for America. It's our kind of country. And I get it. I know. But like, just because we want to be American and, you know, all of this other stuff, that doesn't mean that like people who have cancer have to like go bankrupt, right? That doesn't have to be part of freedom. No? Anybody?
Well, but Amy, if we don't do that, then like, what's the alternative?
The alternative is the communists win, James.
Yes.
What are the other?
Okay, so Bob needs an ankle replacement. You can't pay for that, right? Bob can't pay for it. You can't pay for it. But you can take a gun and go find somebody who does have the money, and you can force them to pay for it, right?
That's basically the same thing as taxes. Probably, right?
Yeah, because if you don't pay, look at Ken Hoven. Look at Ken Hoven. Went to prison for 9 years over the stupidest law in the world, structuring. You take your own money out from your own bank. You just take it out in increments they don't like, and it's structuring. I didn't want those reports going to the IRS because I didn't want to think I was a drug dealer. Like, what are you moving all this money around for? So I told my wife to only take it out in increments of this amount. I mean, because I didn't want them to think I was smuggling drugs or anything, you know?
Exactly. I'm a sovereign citizen. I pay all the taxes I need at the checkout.
Yeah, okay. Maybe that's what the like your SovCit tax advisor, like, oh, if they ever come to you, just tell them you didn't want them to think you were a drug dealer, and then they'll say, oh, okay, and then they'll all just go away. Well, okay, Ken, I'm sorry, they didn't believe you. It didn't work.
Oh my goodness, he is such a shady con. Aren't we debating him soon? Speaking of shady con artists, speaking of adorable people, it's my baby boy. Not Ken Holen. But Moonlight says hi. He does. He is. Yes, he does. Aren't we debating Ken? The long silence makes me think we're not debating Ken.
We are. I have to. We are. The date has to be figured out yet. That's the only thing.
Got you. Okay. Ken Hoven is innocent. Just ask him. That's right. Wife A, wife B, wife C, wife D, liars. Now,
I was a wonderful husband to all of them. I was an amazing husband. I am the best husband any woman could ever ask for.
That's right. And if you ask them again,
the first 3, they're all idiots. They didn't know what they had. They didn't know what they had. They let this go. It's their loss.
Didn't know their place. Athena says meow. Meow, meow, meow. Sending love to all the cats and puppies and really all the pets out there of the world. And yeah, so we are poofing or drowning. I guess let's just very quickly, I'm going to send shout outs to our supporters, and then I'll say my thingy dingy, and then we'll open it up to the open mic. Freedom. Yes. So this show is sponsored by viewers like you. We had the liking and the following, the sharing, but you can also we have our evolving badge system. Our evolving badge system right below triggers, whether it's evolution, abiogenesis, which apparently blows their minds even more.
Gay biogenesis.
Gay biogenesis, exactly. And it blows their mind that we could come from one cell. However, a baby does that kind of, maybe with 2 cells. Multiplies just but that's okay. That's the sound effect of making a baby, by the way. You can send this. Oh, I forgot. Super chats. Super chats are a great way. We'll be up here. I'll dance. I'll be like this. I'm Sarah Palin. Remember when she was a thing? Oh my goodness.
And her husband divorced her of all things. I'm sorry, Sarah.
Yeah, well,
I guess you got tired of her after all those years.
More than a look at. Oh my God, James, I can see Russia. Wait. That used to be. There was a time when that was crazy. When George W.
When
Bush
they asked her, like, oh,
really dumb.
Well, because I was like, oh, so John McCain, who wasn't always in the best of health, and then Sarah Palin, vice president. So what if John McCain dies and you become president? What foreign policy experience do you have? And she said she could see Russia from Alaska.
Which, you know, as you do.
Me and Vladimir, we're tight. I mean, I know him. We share some Stoli vodka once in a while. He comes over, you know.
We're pen pals, but instead of writing, we just shout to each other.
I'm learning Cyrillic. I'm learning the Cyrillic alphabet. Yeah, I'm doing it.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, and that's enough of that. We are a skeptic channel. Oh, wait, no. Before I jump ahead to that, the best way to support us is also at our Patreon at patreon.com/Amy Newman. Woo, there it is. That cuts around all the red tape. This is the point of the podcast where I'm supposed to say you need to support me there because YouTube, the TOS, just takes me down. It blocks all of this information that I, as a independent individual, but that doesn't happen that much. So, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like because I'm saying vaccines are good. I mean, they're not. Once again, taking medicine isn't always the most amazing thing for you. Even Advil and other things have side effects on your body. The point is that they're generally good for you, especially in comparison to what they are overall defeating. That doesn't mean I'm pro Big Pharma. Yeah, I want people to pay $800 a pill. No. But they're charging you that amount of money because the pills work. They're drug dealers. They know the pills work. Anyway,
And that's the thing that you always say to like these people who promote like these natural remedies. Like, okay, if that stuff really worked, then the drug company they wouldn't get to charge $800 for a pill. If you could just go to the GNC and buy a $30 bottle that would take care of you for 2 months, they wouldn't be able to charge the price. They charge those prices because they work that much better, unfortunately.
Yes, if like I'm just trying to think of something, but if if injecting ginger into your veins, which would be bad, but whatever it was, if you found something that, oh my goodness, it became a miracle cure, okay, then scientists and then eventually investors would take that over. It would become a market in Walgreens, and they're not trying to hold people back. It's just that there's a word for alternative medicine that works. Do you know what it is, James? Medicine.
Oh.
Club.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. But they can move over. We don't get as much as those as, once again, our creationist friends. However, that tends to be the other side of the woo. Ghosts tend to be hit or miss. Whether theists or whether liberal or conservative. Ghosts, very spooky. Sending love also to Spooky out there. I did see him a long while ago. Yeah, he's out there. Woo. Took aspirin while visiting emergency room and they charged you $200. I know. And that's what I always get from people who are against me just getting away with us. They're always like, well, the emergency room is out there, right? It's like, yes, the emergency room is out there. The most expensive thing known to, like, I wouldn't say to man, but to the American middle class. You're better off just taking your whoever they are to a 5-star restaurant and doing the cast yourself. Because my lordy. And listen, we have some of the best doctors and nurses out there. That's not what I'm trying to, rail against. I don't
think they're happy about that.
Well, that should never change, and that's not going to change. Like, there's still going to be some of the best paid, best supported, and highly sought out jobs, as the nature of the job is. What James and myself are just talking about are the middlemen, the leeches that attach themselves to the very strong, the very smart individuals and the people who put in the years and time and dedication to join academia. There are these people who just have very thick books about insurance. I have, fortunately, somewhere.
Medical billing. Here. That's what we do. We do billing. We do billing codes. And
my goodness, I can't help it. It's a prop comedy show. Oh, here's JavaScript, Java.
But don't think they're happy necessarily about emergency rooms being open. I promise you, if they thought they could get away with it, you would have credit checks and deposits at the door. And they would happily send people out in the parking lot to die if they could get away with that.
Indeed.
They would, in a heartbeat. Yes. Okay, your credit, we're going to need like a $5,000 deposit before we let in. Don't have it? Well, sorry. Yeah.
And maybe I must have donated to them because they made my head spin. I used to have extremely thick books on different types of just life insurance and all sorts of different type of. My goodness, the amount you have to do to really get a plan if you don't have a good job, and to really invest into that, especially if you're not going through. There's a lot of hate for the ACA, slang term known as the Affordable Care Act, or as the Obamacare. I know I'm really showing my liberal card tonight, but it's actually a great system, and it cuts out through a lot, and it is a great mix of capitalism, socialism, compared to having nothing at all. So if you don't have insurance, it is a market of insurances. Marginally better.
It's marginally better.
That unfortunately
and thing
has been the compromise.
That's the thing. You don't have to be good in the two-party system. You only have to be marginally better than what the other party is offering. That's it. You don't have to be much better. You have to be a lot better. You just have to be a little bit better, and that's why we get things like the Affordable Care Act. Because what are you gonna do? You gotta vote for the other side where they want the checks in the hospitals and they don't care one bit.
Well, they just want you to leave you with the wind or the emergency room. But also, Sinister Porpoise $5 super chat, council.log input for there is no JavaScript book. That's right, baby. That's what our string is saying into our console log, because. And I'm very. This is about how thick the frickin' insurance books were. But at least JavaScript is useful, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so there's a difference. Sending so much love, Sinister. Didn't you just graduate, or you're in the process of graduating?
She's about to be. Yeah.
I just found this
one time. Because when some people about it, like, you just want free stuff. You want it for free. You want everything for free. And no, not saying that. You could, if you take something out of people's payroll, like they take taxes out of your check already, instead of taking money out to go to a private insurance company, what if that just went to a government system to pay for people's health? That wouldn't be free. That's not free. Okay, but it is getting around the middleman and the profit motive, and it's defeating all that. But it's not the same as free, which is what they want to make it sound like.
Yes, because we're just choosing where to send our money. Speaking of which, I am now the Sinister Porpoise, Bachelor of Science. Congratulations, Sinister.
Congratulations, Sinister.
You are an accredited porpoise. So long, and thanks for all the fish.
Did you do a dissertation on the penis length of porpoises? I bet they're a lot smaller than that of whales. Ha ha ha.
Though interestingly enough, I think they're actually in the same classification. It's it gets a little murky.
Cetacean penile length is Dr. Holen's specialty.
That is his specialty. Fortunately or unfortunately. It's easy to set him up. Though maybe it's not. Maybe you're just a master, James.
I have 37 gigabytes of photos. You can get that on a flash drive for $100. I'll send it to you. 37 gigs of cetacean penis photos. Personally taken by me.
As you know, the whale penis is 15 feet. Mr. Hoven, I'm sorry, but this is supposed to be a PowerPoint on global warming.
This is China Garden Chinese restaurant, sir. Can we? Would you like some egg rolls, or we? Did you know that the whale's penis?
Did you know the whale penis?
Yeah.
Mr. Hoven, does he have kids? Your son is getting married. He's getting married. Well, let me do a toast. Did you know that a whale's penis is?
Did you know? You probably didn't know this, but Ken Hoven was on America's Funniest Home Videos back in the 90s while performing his daughter's wedding, and he had somebody call his cell phone to object, like, if anyone has any object, and then his phone went off. Obviously, it was a comedy skit.
He wants to be a comedian. I've said this since the beginning.
Yeah.
Just like J.K. Rowling wants to be a tranny. Wolfe wants to be a comedian. He has no love. Oh yeah, between Eric Hoven and his father, Ken Hoven. And then he has his other boy toy, which is Matt Powell, but he's left the ranch. He is escaped from Neverland Ranch. I mean,
maybe you can spend some time with Jesse Lee Peterson in his compound there.
And he can become a real man.
Not with those Beta Holen.
I've noticed that they've went back into denial, though. Like, if you go onto his channel, he pretends like nothing happened.
Who?
Jesse.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the stand. And move on, yeah.
I hear once you suck a D, you never suck a D again. That's right. It was probably Soros propaganda. Let me check. Hold on. Soros? Was that one of us? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And you put it where? Oh.
Well,
yeah, apparently that was us. Yeah.
So Kent transferred assets to Eric Hoven to avoid tax liens and whatnot. And I guess Eric Hoven decided not to give it back. It like down from that, the old Creation Science Evangelist started a new ministry. Honestly, how would all that old office equipment from the 90s, early 2000s have even been worth anyway? I don't know.
I've never seen a Hoven create a Hoven. I've never seen a Hoven come from a non-Hoven. Hoven!
That was in the debate that Kent's produced Kent's. Kent's produced non-Kent's. And they really think that for evolution to be true, it would have to be a offspring being a different species than the parent. Like, no, that's never happened. It never will happen. Well, then how do you go from amphibians to reptiles? Very slowly. Very slowly.
Over generations with populations.
Yes, very slowly. At no point in that gap does one parent give birth to another species of offspring. It's just a very slow process.
They are thinking of Pokemon, which is what I will continue to say. They think of Pokemon evolution. Speaking of Pokemon evolution, all right. So, many ways to support us, sending love to all of our supporters, including. And then after this, we will get to... I don't know if there's going to be an opposition. I'm really just going to talk about our viewpoint, and then we'll open it up. But sending love, like we said, to Chris Disciple.
I can tell you what they would say, the opposite side of it. I can give you a little sparring.
You can devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can understand some of they'll say that they're evil, that they were drowning evil people, and so he's the good guy. But whatever, we'll get to that. There's an evolution calling, evolution calling, evolution calling for you.
And you.
And you, and you, and you, and you.
You
Magic Carpenter.
You become a new species. Now you become a new species.
Yeah, it's not going to become like a little species. It's going to just start radiating and become a bigger species. That's not how evolution works. That's how we approach it in video games, because we don't know any other way to make it happen before your eyes, because it would be really boring to play a Pokemon game where it was like, all right, and then thousands of years later, after your character is dead, it becomes a new Pokemon. Exciting. Kids are going to love it. Instead of red and blue, it's just red, and and that's the only version for blood.
The atheist pacifier's time just long ago, far away.
Yes, exactly. We worship time. And no, it's just that they are not trying to say this in like not an ad hom way, and there's no way I can, but you need to be an adult and just understand that things happen on time spans longer than us. And what I mean is, and I know that every human, look, I know not every human lives to 100. So we used to just live to 35, but like, just give me 100, okay? A good 100. We have to understand that things happen longer than a time period of 100 years old. Like that a star takes longer than 100 years. And that if you can't accept that, that is not the star's fault. That is not science's fault or the people that try and interpret and understand science to the best of their ability. That is just religion. Not to take more pot
No
shots.
one's ever seen a star form. You see them blow up, so nobody's ever seen a
Hold
star
on one
form.
second, James. Hold on. Oh,
No,
sorry.
no.
Okay. Sorry. Satan was taken bad.
Amy Newman has never seen a star form. You see them blow up every once in a while, but no one's ever seen a star form. Huh? Why is that? Oh, it must be because here in Genesis it says, and then God made the stars. Oh, God's claiming he made them all at once, not forming right now.
Sending love, Dave. I see you out there. And they try to make it seem like less days is the more sane and rational. Like, I don't get how it makes more sense that someone would get it done in 6 days than 13.8 billion years. Or 4.5 in the case of our own solar system, our own planet. Like, that just... it's part of being an adult. Being able to accept things are longer than our time period. I don't know. But sending so much love out there. It was a tangent, but it was a lovely one. Sending so much love, Chris Disciple and all the skeptic theists out there. Sending love to davegar, reminding us the world is round. Very thick. It's how we like her. And I say her because I'm gendering the earth. Just like how they like to call God a male. Listen, I'm bi. I like guys. I just find it odd that it has to be a father. And they always try to pass that off as if it makes... I know, but Jesus had a penis. But they try and pass that off like clearly a father would be... Well, yeah, if you're calling it a father, then yes, by definition, then it has to have a son. But like when we traditionally think of birth, who do you think of more? The father or the mother? But okay, yeah, okay. I don't know. It's weird. It could go either way, both ways.
Vagina either doesn't have either.
Yes. Well, that's the 50-50. Sometimes I often get it's genderless. Though here's the 3 things that I get, okay? I get it's a male, it's genderless, and then my third favorite. Remember how we were always just talking about how it can always just be C? You know, he's a genderless guy. And you're like, oh my. I mean, we're really starting to up our postmodernism. And so they make fun of like the LGBTQ, but then if you just, take a look at their views, they need gender a lot. And oh my goodness, thank you so very much, left-handed Jedi. Religion can't change. They only have one book to go by. Science grows, evolves, you might even say. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, left-handed Jedi. And yes, that is the great thing. We often get flack. And, religion has this weird thing where they try and play this older game. Whoever is the oldest is the best. And even the more modern religions find ways to say that they're actually older. Islam will say, like, it was the oldest religion passed down, non-tainted through oral tradition. They all have a shtick.
Judaism
And
and
so
Christianity got changed and tainted. So
Exactly.
Abraham, Jesus, they were all Muslims. They were all Muslims. Yeah.
We love Jesus. He just never died. But, science in the opposite, it actually changes. It, as Skywork says, it progresses. And that is the strength of science. Oh my goodness, Satan took James. It happens, but he'll be back because he's spending time with Gilbert in hell right now. Speaking of which, we need to do our our skeptic Bible study. I've been meaning to bring this up and find a time that. Do you guys have any time you think that was preferable? I need to start doing the Sunday show again, regardless of whether T-Jump does. I know T-Jump's starting to get busy, but I want to start doing it again on Sundays because I thought that was a good slot, and we need to do our Bible study. But yeah, science grows. That's the great thing about it. It progresses. And thank you so much, Left-Handed Jedi. I'm going to keep on thanking people. Oh, James has been resummoned from hell. And so thank you, davegar. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Dale Pastel, reminding us we just want empirical evidence. Doesn't have to be a lot. Just has to be a little. If you decide to give us empirical evidence,
She's not a size
then
queen
it
in
may
that
actually
regard.
change. Yes, exactly. I'm not a size queen because if you had even a little bit in that regard, yeah,
It would
exactly.
be more than they had. A little bit would still be better.
And listen, if you have a small PP, we have a male to femboy pipeline, which very hot this season.
Science progresses. That's the things that, like I've said it before, like scientists, they're not debating the same things they were debating 2,000 years ago. They've moved well beyond that. Theologians, they're debating the same shit. Like the theological battles that Christianity is having today are the same. They've never changed. The same ones, they come back from time to time. One might go away for a while, then it'll come back. You never actually put anything to rest. Never actually any conclusion or resolution, because it's all just opinion. It's none of it's based in reality. So it could be whatever he wants it to be. Yeah, it's all nonsense.
Also sending love out to our Twitch. Anybody who wants to send love or head over there at twitch.tv/Amy Newman Skeptic. And all right, sending also love to Rachel Holen. Thank you so much, Rachel, reminding us once again about that femboy. That boy to femboy pipeline. If you are in a bar with consenting adults, that's probably the right place to pick people up. If you are going to the nations around you and just deciding to try to take them over, you're probably a dickweed. I think that's the scientific technical term.
This person, this man you're seeing on screen works in an elementary school. This person is trying to turn the kids trans.
You have to understand, James.
You thought they were joking about marching all the kids across the street to get their sex change surgery? No, that's not a joke. That's real.
It's right. Step 1, it is teach algebra. Step 2, change your gender. This the same, which is the same I teach when I am doing college courses. In programming, it's step 1, variables. Step 2, how to change your gender. That's what they think it is, anyway. No.
You're going to send your daughter to school, your little girl, and she's going to come home as your son, and she's going to, you have to call her by boy pronouns, or you're going to go to jail.
No, you can't change who people are. You just... Yeah, they are humans. You let them be who they are. And as teachers, you hope that you instill critical thinking. And if you were able to instill that, you have done your job. At least attempted. Sending so much love. Oh my gosh. Hey, Shane, member for 18 months, sending so much love in, said, and I have to before I get this. You know, I wanted to go clubbing, but couldn't find any seals. Oh. God damn it. Oh, shit, if there was a hell, I think we were definitely going to it. But also sending love out there to Seal, the singer. We were kissed by Dark Humor. Sending so much love, Shane, for all the support and baby seals.
Fish on the boat.
Oh my goodness. I love.
She was clubbing fish.
Exactly. When we mean club seals, we mean take them to clubs and get them really drunk and have them dancing and have them have a good time. That's what we mean by take.
Oh. Good Dale Pastel just came.
What's up, Dale? Now the party's getting started. We got Shane, we got Dale. It's getting started, and yeah,
right. See, they were
trying
trying to find out who's decapitating seals. Like they kept finding headless seals.
My
they
God,
had cameras out there watching for like 18 months until they saw it was a coyote out there fighting decapitating seals. Yeah.
My goodness. What a dick coyote.
Yeah. What a dick coyote.
Because I love seals. They're part of Carnivora. They are basically, they're sea pups, the eggs. And you can see it in the baby's eyes and stuff. And woo-woo. And because they're predators, even though we often think of us being preying them.
Are they in the walrus family?
No, they're not. They're carnivora. They are related to cats
what is
and
a walrus related to?
What is a walrus related to? That is a good question. I'd have to think on that or look that up. I don't know if they're related to hippos or something.
You see,
I know that whales, and you're lagging just a little bit, James.
Walrus kind. They're an individual kind by God.
Yes. But I know that hippos and whales are not too far away because the whale was related to a deer-like ancestor that became aquatic. And I know they think that's our fairy tale, but we have evidence for that. So, yeah. But sending so much love to Rachel and all of you all. Sending so much love. Dale out there, I see. And sending so much love to, last but certainly not least, the two out there. Sending love to Ian Davenport. Where we're not using SpongeBob thinking. Apologetic arguments are ridiculous. I'm looking forward to the Kent debate. Once again, he takes on anyone and as many atheists as he says possible. So James and myself are going to go have some fun, and it'll just be like the show. That's what it was last debate because it was just us two and him. Well, anyway,
Amy, so much I have to inform you. I must inform you that walruses are part of carnivora.
Walruses are carnivore. Okay, it says they're related to seals and sea lions. All right, walruses are related to bears, and bears are carnivora. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic.
Well, the atheist storybook of evolution.
No point. It's a fairy tale. It's a religion. More of those words
for grown-ups.
Grown-ups. And last but not least, and like I was just saying, James, I keep on saying this, but I also want to talk to you about something because I have an idea about getting me more organized and getting the show more organized, even though it costs me money. But we are getting lovely support here and so maybe using some of my own. Being cryptic, but expanding team, getting a PA or something like that that can keep me organized, can be available to you as well. But I'm thinking that maybe something, because I am sick of me not doing as much content as I can, because it's never James. James has been late once or twice. And I've been late once or twice. But a show has almost never not gone on because of James. It's almost always been me, and I want us to go back into full gear. And so you guys and girls have given us a lot. I don't know. Sending so much love out there. I want to thank Regos, and with that, I think I'm going to be right back a second, and then I'm going to say something. Well, are you here, James? Uh-oh, we may have lost James. Wait, no, he's back.
I'm here.
You're here, and I'm queer.
That's not going to change.
Okay.
Grab me a beer.
All right, James. I'm going to be right back 1 second, and then I'm going to say a speech thing, and then we'll open it up.
Go ahead.
But yes, we are talking about Poof or Drown, and we're really talking about Noah and implications of, whether we would drown someone painfully. But he's a good guy. God is the good
one. He's a good guy. It's never his fault, Amy. You see, it's never his fault. Nothing's ever his fault. He's the only one who has perfect information, perfect knowledge of past, present, future, knows everything. He has perfect morality. His moral compass is perfect because he defined morality based around his parameters. So, of course it's going to be perfect. He's the one who gets to decide that. So, yeah. But nothing's ever his fault, which, as humans, we don't always understand the ramifications, the results of the things that we do, and we don't have perfect knowledge. We don't know how other people will react to it or what the circumstances will be. God doesn't get he doesn't get that because he does know all that. He has perfect understanding of how everything's going to play out. And, he just decides how he wants to do something, and he just does it. Regardless of what happens, regardless of the ramifications, he just does it because he doesn't care. He doesn't care how it's going to turn out. That's why, he decided to set it up so that the first time any human being sinned, that guilt would translate down to all of them. That's not intrinsic to nature. He set that up that way, knowing it would happen. He still did it that way. But he wants to put the blame on the people in the equation who knew the least. The people who were made intentionally ignorant, intentionally made not to understand morality, to have no moral bearing, no understanding. And, it's their fault that all this has happened. He did it. He came up with a perfect world, perfect plan. Everything was great. It was just the man that messed it up, But his plan was perfect. It was great. It was wonderful. It could not have been a better plan. And, some Christians will say, well, it looks bad to us, but we don't have all the knowledge. We're not God. Maybe if we were in his shoes, we would understand why. There was no better way to do it. That was just the best way possible, which, means they don't really have any clue of why he did what. They're just giving him the benefit of the doubt that he had good reasons for it, that he's good, which I think they'll admit. I think they would say, well, he tells us he's a good God. He tells us he's love. And So we see certain things that don't always appear loving, but we have to understand that his ways are not our ways. They're greater than our ways. And we just have to trust him when he says he's good. And you got to give him that. People, Christians, devout Christians, they do put a lot of trust and faith in their God. I would just say that it's unfounded. There's no reason for it. There's no... you wouldn't give anybody else this level of benefit of the doubt. You wouldn't excuse this much horror from anybody else other than their God. Anybody did anything of the likes that their God did, that they would condemn them, no questions asked. But this God, they give him every benefit of the doubt, every out, every conceivable way that they can try to justify what he does, even though a lot of times it looks pretty horrible. So yeah, we'll get Amy back. We'll see. We'll see what her take on this, and then we'll do a little bit of back and forth, and then we will open it up. Hope everybody had a good Christmas holiday if you celebrate, or even if you don't, you can still have a good day, good time. Get to see your family. Most of us come from families where there is still people in it who are religious believers, so it's something our families are at least involved with. I think those of us who were believers at one time, you don't do it necessarily because you believe the significance of it. It's just more traditional, more of a family bonding, family activity that doesn't have any divine or holy meaning anymore. So yeah, there you go. Well, you can also ask Amy about her love for bears. It runs pretty deep. I think their love for her is equally as deep, but no way to tell for sure.
I will say, I do love bears. I come back, and the cat, it's for foods. All right.
Amy
what
got
is up,
mauled
y'all?
by a bear, and she is thrilled.
That's right. Oh, I get mauled by a bear every other weekend. Rachel and myself have a guy toss us around. If only that were true. Once again, hot guys out there, come talk to Rachel and I. Sending so much love. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Now, I can't really not. I know that he
You
would
have
say
to.
don't think,
You
but
have to.
Chris, thank you so very, very much. And they said Amy's heart grew 3 sizes that day. James W's too. Thank you so much, Chris.
Amy hearted Pharaoh's what?
That's a different story. And then the Pharaoh said, wait a second, it's been more than 4 hours. Listen.
Aren't I supposed to be seeing a doctor about this?
Oh my. And that's another guy that they always bring up, because they're always like, do you care that God killed the evil Pharaoh? And I'm like, I don't know, did you read the story of Moses? God hardened that beast's heart over and over and over and over.
Yeah, the Pharaoh who wouldn't let him go. Well, why didn't the Pharaoh let him go? Well, because he was a big, mean man. He was the mean Pharaoh. Well, no, that's actually not what the story says at all. He didn't let him go because God didn't want him to let him go. God wanted to destroy him to make an example out of him for everybody else to see.
But with that, I think we are going to, and God said, let my Venus go. Yes, I'm pretty sure. Verbatim. We are going to go into an opening, and then I'm going to open it up for the open mic. I'd also like to send love out there for any creationists. If you feel like defending the Noah story, or if you have an opinion on poofing or drowning and you think that you have the solution, please let me know. Please let James know. Come on and tell us why. I heard something. I don't know if it was a speaker. Okay. Sometimes you have the stream playing and then it goes back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. I want to thank you all. Poof or drown? Noah 2.0. This time, it's personal. The thought experiment of poof or drown starts with God simply coming towards you as a new prophet. Or at least someone who needs to decide something important for him. You see, he wants to eliminate all of humanity. Again, sequels are the in thing this year. Okay, you turn up fluff. So I get they're not close. Or at least, he wants to do a sequel. They're all the rage this year. He may even let a handful survive. It's tradition. And he doesn't want to look like a bad guy at all. But he really needs you to help him decide how everyone is going to go. And by go, I mean die. Like D-E-D, dead. But we have two options by which we can go here. On one hand, we can poof everyone out of existence. Think Thanos' snap from Endgame or any other movie where people turn to dust. No fuss, no muss. But on the other hand, you have the drown method. An oldie, but a goodie. In this option, it rains until everyone on Earth drowns. Maybe people forget, how to build boats or something. Either way, almost everyone dies. A horrible, excruciatingly painful death. No pain, no gain. Or so I'm told. Now, my question to Theus. Which option are you going to choose? Poof or drown? They both clearly don't have good answers. If you poof everyone out Marvel style, well, then you do kind of have to admit, maybe drowning people, kind of a dick move. And that a death without suffering is the more moral of the two choices. However, if you pick drown, which I've heard many Abrahamic theists do when I sometimes ask this question, you can see the humanity get thrown from their lips into a trash can. Ooh. It went right in. Well, Everyone suffocating horribly sounds bad. But you know what? It has God's seal of approval, including the drowning of babies. Which is my last point. Someone, please, think of the women and children. Or in this case, the children. Because I always find it weird how easy it is that theists who are against abortion, but are supposedly pro-drowning babies? Granted, these are evil babies, or babies that will grow up to be evil, or so the story tells us. But it makes me wonder, what kind of objective morality stems from a guy who decides to take away the free will and the life of, from my point of view, from our point of view, innocent babies? Hopefully, this line of questioning can help your friends stuck in these religions ponder a tough question. Though I will say, if your God has a kill count in the planet full, you might not be the good guy. Thank you. All right. I just had to rant a little bit. We are talking Poof or Drowned. And James, anything else that we could think about before we open it up to the open mic?
Well, I mean, I think this thought experiment, it's primarily useful for non-believers, but this type of reasoning, I don't really think it's going to make much of an impression on people who do believe. I think they have plenty of toolkits in their tool belt to give God outs for something that we would view as horrible. So everybody dies, right? Everybody dies. Some people die relatively comfortably. Some people die in horrible conditions, right? But the way God's looking at it is that this life on earth is so insignificant to your future, whereas he gives you the option of going to heaven or hell. Heaven where you have no pain, no sorrow, nothing's wrong. So God looks at people having to suffer through, even the worst death imaginable to God. He doesn't really, it's nothing to him because he's operating on eternal time frame. So it really doesn't, although, we're the ones experiencing it, he's not. So obviously it's very easy for him to say, what is nothing and what's not. Jesus himself subjected himself to an unpleasant death, probably more so than a drowning would be, as the scale of deaths go. Crucifixion would be not very pleasant at all. It would be drawn out over several hours. Not the absolute worst way to die. There probably are worse things that you could do, but it's
drowning is pretty horrible.
Drowning is an unpleasant way to go. I don't know anyone who would disagree with that. It's not the best way to go out. But nobody gets Poof. Nobody gets Poof. So if God's going to kill somebody, he's got to choose a method in the natural world to do it. He doesn't do things by magic like that. Well, I mean, unless he's parting the Red Sea or making frogs rain down on Egypt. Okay, all right. So he uses magic sometimes when it's convenient for him, but he doesn't kill planetfuls full of people with magic. Come on, Amy. Come on. What Kenobi said is God had to flood the earth. That way it would leave evidence of this flood. So we could look back through the geological evidence and see that there was no global. Oh, no. There was a global flood. There was a global. Yeah. I'm sorry, because the geologists, they look back and they don't see evidence of a global flood, but obviously, Amy, that's just their bias because it's clearly there for them to
Exactly.
see. They just don't want to believe, so they pretend it's not there. But God left all this evidence of this global flood, so that way we would be able to know that the Bible is true, right? Like, oh, did Noah really have this ark and fill it with animals? And did the flood really? Yes, it did, because there's proof. Okay, that all those stories you got told in Sunday school, it's literal history. It's true.
It's a history book.
If the scientists don't see it, then that's on them. That's their fault for not understanding the beauty of God's judgment. You see, Amy, he's a righteous judge. He is all loving, but he's not all just loving. He's also all
But wait,
all
there's
just.
more.
Yeah, perfectly merciful, perfectly just. Um, he's everything and more, with a cherry on top.
Except the things you don't like. You can't lie. I love that one. It's my favorite one because that's so totally made up by a human.
How could God lie?
Can you imagine a God
is
that
true.
had
He is
to be? It would be like a dude that was like from Liar Liar. Like, can you imagine God coming down, but like having problems in life in the same way that Jim Carrey did? I don't know.
Well,
Let's try to book the same thing.
The pen is royal blue. I remember seeing that movie in the theater when it came out. That movie was hilarious. What was I, like 13 at the time? Amazing movie. But the pen is royal blue. When he sees him bash his head with toilet seat in the bathroom, I'm kicking my ass. Do you mind?
But that is what it would have to be for that type of God to exist. It is kind of just ridiculous.
But there's an asterisk there, Abe. There's a loophole because God can't lie. He can't lie. He can't lie. He can't do that. But he can have other people lie for him. That doesn't break his thing. He can have other people lie. He can even tell other people to lie. He can.
Oh my God.
He can use the Holy Spirit to send people strong delusion. In the New Testament, it clearly says he is going to send people strong delusion that they should believe a lie. So there's going to be a lie. God is going to force people to believe it, delude them, make them believe it, and then he will punish them for believing that lie that he made them believe in the first place. That's what it says. I'm sure they don't interpret it that way, or they would write 25 paragraphs to tell you that that's not really what it means, but it's what it says. God's going to send people delusion. That meaning, if they were going to believe it anyway, if they were just willing to believe it, why would God have to send them delusion, Amy? It's like if Pharaoh wasn't going to let the people go, why would God have to harden his heart? Only have to harden his heart if maybe he would have let him go. Or
if he actually would have let him go.
Yeah. You only have to send people strong delusion to make them believe something if they weren't going to believe it. If they were just going to believe it anyway, you wouldn't have to do that. And God would know that. He would know if they were going to believe it anyway because he's God. He knows everything. He knew these people wouldn't believe it. So that's a problem, right? Because how can he punish them for believing something, Amy, they don't believe? He can't. So he's got to make them believe it so he can punish them for it.
Then you would be making innocent people suffer.
Yeah, that would be if if you were God, right, and you told the Pharaoh to let your people go, well, and the Pharaoh doesn't, well, naturally you've got to punish the people of Egypt, Amy. You've got to rain death, destruction, and suffering down upon the people of Egypt to get the Pharaoh to let your people go. And then you go back to the Pharaoh again and say, let my people go. But what did God do again, Amy, to the Pharaoh's heart?
Harden that heart, baby.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess then Pharaoh's not. He's not. I guess I've got to do more plagues. go out to kill more people, more death and suffering, to punish the Pharaoh for not letting him go when that's what I made
And it's
sure.
because
would happen.
they, and I don't say all of them, but many of them have not actually read the story. They have seen the Hollywood version for how much they hate Hollywood. They have maybe read the Sunday school versions and stuff like that, the children's versions. But if you were to actually read the story, it's horrible. Pharaoh tries multiple times, like a Saw victim, to let the Jews go. Now, listen, should he have had Jews to begin with? First of all, Jews did not. There were Jewish slaves in Egypt, just not massive Jewish slaves that were owned by the government.
Not
But
an army of them.
in the story, should that have happened? No. Now, did he try to let them go because he saw a supernatural force was stronger than him, and he probably his pants? Yes, he did. Multiple times. And so at that point, you are kicking the guy when he's down. And so no, it's not really like.
But who's paying the price for that? Who is paying the people of Egypt who had no say whatsoever in the status of the Hebrews? Most of your Egyptian peasants were not. They had no say in the status of the Jewish slaves. They were just still peasants.
Always God, because God is the one who set up this whole setting to begin with. He is the one who can see past, present, future, who is the one who
perfect
knew.
Information.
Yes, exactly. But while we're talking, and we'll keep on talking, but the link is now into chat. If you would like to join the panel for Poof or Drown, if you'd like to answer our question, or to
you just want to come on and flirt with Amy, that's cool too.
That's right. If you want to come
on
and flirt with me or flirt with James.
If
I know James has a girlfriend, but come on and flirt with me, and then
Amy's got multiple.
Like I said, exactly. Rachel and I will have a good time with you. But if not, we'll just go ranting for the next 30 minutes ourselves. Oh, well, yeah. We'll rant for the next whatever. And then, yeah. Because I did get it off my chest, which is to say that, and sending love. I'm going to keep on saying it. I don't know if Pine Creek will ever see this. But, I know that he is a conservative atheist. And I want him over on... we don't really. The LGBTQ agenda is to live, let live, and I know that is a trope at this point. However, that really is, and so he is the one who Poof and Drown, I believe, comes from. Maybe he got it from somewhere else, but we're connecting. We're connecting paths.
Shane makes a good point
here.
out there.
I am Jose Canseco.
No, down.
Oh, God be like, oh, gotcha. God be like, your grandfather has pissed me off, so I'm gonna punish your son for it. I know, the pissing me off multi-generations is horrific. That is once again
7 generations, right? The Bible says he will revisit the sins of the children to 7 generations.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but that is just evil. That's something that a supervillain, I feel like
I don't know, the North Korean prison camps where they imprison generations of people for opposing the regime, and we look at that and say that's horrible. You take the parents, the grandparents, the children, if they're alive, and you send them all to these concentration camps. That's horrible. Who would do something like that? Who would punish the whole family to that many generations? Well, God would do that.
God is a jerk. But with that, we are going to let in the sinister porpoise and start our open mic. It is pinned,
citation,
and maybe I'll send it to the Discord, some opposing view Discords, see if I can get a bite.
You get a line, I'll get a pull.
Right. But we
Just
are
a
having
pro.
fun tonight, and I am going to. It's rare because normally I probably would have to get off soon anyway because I'd be so kinky and so horny. But no, I would actually have to be going to keep bed because I'm lame and because I love my job and I have to teach. But let's go into it. We are Skeptic and Ranting on Poof or Drown. We have Sinister Porpoise behind stage. Let's get to it. What's up, Sinister? Welcome to Poof or Drown. Oh, she's saying 1 second. That's okay. I basically talked forever, unfortunately or fortunately. I want to just say not only hi to you, but we are Skeptic and Ranting on Poof or Drown. I want to send
We are?
to the live chat. Yes, we are asking, if God came to you and said he was going to drown everyone, would you indeed poof them out like Thanos or just, have them gulp a few buckets of water? And apparently forget how to make boats. Because I don't know why they didn't know how to make boats in that story. That's right! Porpoise, congratulations! That's right, she graduated. She now has her bachelor's in computer science. She is an educated porpoise. Well, come on. How do you feel about the subject or anything we're talking about?
Also an educator, porpoise.
That's right, educated and educator.
That always baffles me, but I am gonna forgo the flirting with you, but I'm sure someone will come in and take you up on it. Possibly Ember.
Oh my.
There you go.
If Ember is still in chat, but I've often wondered about the story. One of the things that I've been trying to think about the story, when I think about it, is what is this supposed to, is it teach or something? Because I don't think the story was ever intended to be taken literally. Not to mention God has what I'm going to call the Thanos problem. It's like you're omnipotent, you can do anything else, but you're just so set on doing this one thing that you don't think that there's a better solution.
You don't care. Yeah. You know it's going to blow up in your face, but you don't care. And you just let it blow up in your face.
Because anything else would be it wouldn't work as like a plot. There has to be a thing. You need it's a MacGuffin. You need a shtick. And he's got his shtick. I want everybody to drown. But I wanted to drown people.
And that always bugged me about the movie too. It's like, yeah, the comic book plot is ridiculous, but it would have made more sense than the tragic villain they made the movie out of. Thanos is just a bad guy who's trying to stop Death from going after Deadpool because she has a crush on Deadpool. I mean,
Yes.
That's it.
And if I could be Thanos' lawyer for just a second, my client was actually trying to help the overpopulation problem. You see, he was thinking about out-of-the-box solutions, Your Honor.
Yeah, but once you're omnipotent, I don't know. I mean, I think it's...
There's better options.
I could make a psychological justification because he's thinking that he's been trying to do this for a long time and then he's just set on it, not realizing it's like, hey, I have all these stones that make me omnipotent. Maybe I can just make people consume less.
Yeah, but you see, religion has a logistics problem.
Maybe they should hire UPS.
They should. Or Amazon. Apparently Amazon has just taken over, for better or for worse, as one of the most in sending out packages or whatever than even the government. Oh my goodness. They're too efficient.
Well, Amazon does need to be broken up, but that's a different issue.
Yes, that is a different issue. Yeah, I don't know how to go after the big Borg.
Well, I have some ideas, but I think people who have thought more and harder about this than I have better ideas on how to solve the Amazon problem. Personally, I think part of Amazon's problem is how Google does its SEO rankings, where if you can pay to keep your website, hi Athena, on the top of the rankings, you will stay up there. But let's go back to Noah. And there's another problem that's the same thing in the Thanos story. It's like, Thanos just takes out half of all life. It's like, what did the dolphins do? His problem is just with a fraction of the species in the universe, but he just eliminates half of all life.
Yeah, I don't really get how he's the good guy. I'm going to keep on saying that if you kill people by the planetful, are you really the good guy?
Well, did you know that the Texas legislature in 1971 passed a motion commending Albert DeSalvo for his work in population control. He was the Boston Strangler, the serial killer.
Oh, I was gonna say
It was a meme like, oh, that they just pass all these legislation without even like listening to it. Like, oh, okay, all right, whatever. They're not going to vote against that when they pass the motion praising a serial killer for his work, by the way, at population control. So you could say God was doing some advanced population control for the earth.
Are you sure about? Are you sure about that story? Because I know there's
Pretty
like
sure.
a story that goes around that it's usually some Western state that
Pretty sure.
they tried to set the value of pi to 3.
Oh, that I haven't heard.
Now, there is one state that tried to legislate the value of pi, but it wasn't to 3, and it wasn't the farther western states, it was Indiana. It passed the House, but the Senate quickly killed the bill.
What decade was this?
This was in the 19th century. It was some dentist who decided irrational numbers didn't exist or something, and tried to convince the House to legislate the value of pi.
Well, I mean that's in the vein of the Scopes trial, the evolution trial in Tennessee, where Clarence Darrow versus William Jennings Bryan, who ran for president like 7 times, lost every single time.
Are you sure that wasn't Eugene B. Debs?
William Jennings Bryan ran at least 3 or 4 times and lost. Debs probably ran it also, but William Jennings Bryan was the prosecutor for the Scopes monkey trial.
Yeah, there's a play called Inherit the Wind that people might want to check out. That's pretty good. That's about
they
that.
made a movie about that at one point, like in the 70s, I think.
There's a black and white one and one that came out in the 80s.
So the Tennessee actually made it illegal to teach evolution. Made it illegal in the early part of the 1900s to teach science, in favor of, I guess, a literal interpretation of the Bible. He was found. I believe the result was he was found guilty, but just given a fine, like a nominal fine. That was But it was people got to have that trial and see the trial, and people got to see how ridiculous it was, and how yes, hi Athena.
Yay, love to all fur babies.
Yeah. Furries, Amy. Amy loves her some furries.
Yeah, those two.
Don't let her tell you she doesn't.
Athena, they might like to see your eyes and not that end of the kitty.
No, she knows what they want to see.
Athena. So we have this story, and you would think, well, sorry, I keep forgetting what I'm going to say. I do think that perhaps...
You're getting multi-cat. It happens.
I'm getting multi-catted. I think the story might have been less problematic if Christianity didn't assume on the omni properties of God Because we know that Hosea 45:7 says God creates evil, which often just gets ignored. And if we just want to ignore like the Christian omni properties and want to say God isn't all good, we have fewer problems with the whole
Right.
Noah's Ark story. We still have some, but it's like we don't have to justify how it's all good.
And it's important to recognize, like, through significant chunks of at least the Torah, God was not omnipotent. That had not evolved yet. So, he was still just one of many gods. He was their main god, but he was one of many gods. So,
And the Jews had their God, but then there were these gods over here.
well, even the Jews some Jews worshipped other gods. Yahweh began as their god of war. There was like El, which morphed into El Shaddai. I forget the names of it. I just saw a really good explanation of it. I sent you the video of it, like the evolution of Yahweh through the Canaanite deities of El, and how he became who he was. Interesting stuff.
Actually, it's interesting. I'm looking that up. It's crazy how, they evolved.
Religion always evolves. That's always what it has done. Which is why I like to point out to Christians like that their version of what they think of as mainline Bible believing Christianity. Like if you would have gone back like 300 years ago, what they're teaching today, they would have been executed for preaching what they believe today. And they're like, oh, I just open up the Bible and read what it says. That's what I believe. Well, Christians have never believed like the things that they believe today. Most of these things were fringe positions that that would have been very few people would have believed in. Well, they like to bash the Catholic Church for it, but the Reformers, Martin Luther, they believed in things like apostolic succession. They believed in the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist. They believed in baptizing infants. Like all these things today that they're against, they all believed back then and practiced.
What's up, Robin? Sorry, Sinister. Just saying hello, hello. And
Hey,
Goth and Darren and everybody out there. Back to you, Sinister.
I think it was more than 400. Well, I guess it would depend on where you are, but in this country, 300 years ago, they were not persecuting Christians for that. At least, not most Christians, because that was the 1700s, which brought us the Age of Enlightenment. Now, if you go back to 400 or 500 years ago, you have things like my ancestors getting kicked out of Switzerland because they essentially wouldn't serve in the military is what it boiled down to because they were pacifists. So that's why they bought a farm in what is now Pennsylvania.
Woohoo! I miss Pennsylvania.
I miss the food and the mountains.
I have this whole rant on freaking just the Amish, because the Amish are just such an odd thing, because they're like a cult, and yet they make great furniture.
You know, I saw one time it was really cool, like how they move a building with just a bunch of people picking it up, like dozens of people inside the building and just carrying it. Never seen anything like that before.
You might be surprised about the tech they do use. They usually have some pretty decent biotech that they use on their farms.
I just saw, what was it? Did you see the video? It was like within the past year, like the Amish guy drunk on Bud Light, like slumped over on his horse and buggy, like falling out. Of course, it's got to be Bud Light.
Of course. I should upload. I keep on saying this. I have a Bud Light bit that I keep on forgetting to upload, and they keep on somehow trying to drag Bud Light back into the news. So I should release it before it becomes a year, 2 years old. But they do have technology. In fact, they have a lot of technology because they stopped at a very specific time. It's because we flattened history. They stopped at like a specific point in the 1800s, right before electricity. And so they have like thousands of years technically of technology. They just don't have anything that we associate with truly this modern stuff because we associate electricity with everything modern. But they still have great techniques and all this other stuff.
Well, first of all, they do use some really advanced biotechnology on their farms, but what is allowed depends on what their ordinance is, and it varies from congregation to congregation. And that's why you have Mennonites, which are even less restrictive generally, that are
Sure.
near Amish, and I think Athena's trying to get after my pennant again.
It looks like it. She's eyed it. It needs to come down.
Also, Porpoise, maybe they're just Amish. I'm so sorry.
And some that are no different than any other mainstream Protestant. But we all know that according to the one true Christian religion, that ancient Jews built boats and sailed to America and built Christian churches.
Yo, I told Rachel this, and I had to truly convince her that there were groups of people that believed that the Native Americans were Jews. And like I'm like, yep. I'm like, listen, I can get you Alexa to even say it. And yeah, it's just Mormons, yeah.
Well, there's more than one Mormon group, but yeah, they're all Mormons.
That's right. There's fundamentalist Mormons. They're my favorite because they do polyamory.
And I'm not sure where
polygamy and marrying. And if, by the way, if adult women are out, well, we can start doing kids.
That depends on which fundamentalist group you're talking about, because there are fundamentalist groups that will do ethical polygamy that don't allow underage relationships.
Yeah. But all the ones who do allow it are traditionalist Mormons, even though they don't all do it.
But they all include readings from a hat. So
I think you'll find most modern Mormons know about it, but don't take it that seriously.
Well, it's like the one time I was watching the show, remember on CNN, good old Glenn Beck, and he said he got together with his wife one day, and he said we sat down at the table. We've got to pick a religion. We've got to make a choice here. And they started going through like the Mormon material, and they just really liked it, so they went with that. Good old
makes too much sense.
Having been a former journalist and trained as a writer, and having read the Book of Mormon twice, having that information and reading the Book of Mormon is a painful experience. Because even though the modern versions have been edited quite a bit to improve upon the grammar, it's still a horribly written book. And the Doctrine and Covenants is even worse. So,
you try translating from Reformed Egyptian Sinister and see if you can do any better with the grammar.
I'm sure I could be as accurate in a language that doesn't exist as Joseph Smith was.
I too speak fluent Reformed Egyptian. I believe Amy does also.
I do.
But I was about to say it's not really about believing it, it's about community at this point. I think you'll find that most of the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will pay lip service to it, but they don't really believe the stories in the Book of Mormon generally. Or will believe them when they're in church.
Like they were asking Romney about, like, so do you believe there's these other planets with all, like, all, he's like, oh, we don't think about that. We don't concern ourselves with all that.
And so I'm just going to quickly jump in. There's going to be 10 more minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Sending so much love. I know Goth just joined, and I know some others have sending love to everyone out there still with us. We are going to, if an opposing view, I will say, if you're a creationist, this is your time to shine and join, because if not, we are just happy to have this conversation, and we are going to send some love actually to Mark, Reid, and Bree, who are both live, and we're going to send you to both of theirs. So last chance, I'm sending it in there. If you are a creationist
Be like
and you
Titan
think
and
that
watch them both.
Noah... I am sending... That's right, I'm supporting both.
I think
And
Titan said he has the record for timing out Otangelo on the most consecutive streams at once, like 5 streams. The timed Otangelo out on all 5 of them.
And if anyone wants to invite Kyle Adams in here, please do so.
Cat. I do love South Park.
Not that Kyle.
Different kind.
Oh, maybe. But honestly, it's probably. But
Kyle
maybe.
Kalinske.
Oh, that's right. It's 3 days before New Year's Eve. Kyle Adams.
And also 3 days
Milton
grace.
Wadhams.
The one that was all modern day debate. Ember debated him. Aaron Raw put up with him.
Yeah.
What was the debate?
I think they were trying to debate is Mormonism true.
Oh boy. Yeah, okay, I remember.
The answer is no.
So,
Well, you remember when you went Discord trolling for debates and you got the Mormon guy on? And the sister came on and had a bit of a back and forth.
that was more of a conversation, and it's not like I really want to. I mean, debates are one thing. There are some people I might like to debate, but logical, probable, plausible is now gone. Probably figuring out how many animals to put on the ark.
Yeah, I saw a clip of him the other day, but I'm not sure if it was a fresh one. I don't know if he does streams anymore.
Well, good for him if he's not.
Oh, you're gonna miss him though.
I really don't miss the people who insist DNA is a
You
computer
wrote
code.
off with a piece of your heart.
I'm gonna miss him in the same way that I miss George Santos. So that's kind of that's an insult I don't think anyone really deserves.
George Santos?
George Santos was a politician who lied about everything and
Gay
somehow
Republican of all
more
things, of all
lies than a
things,
normal
gay
politician.
Republican.
Yes.
I should have gotten that
Yes, a
reference.
gay Republican. But was I think the technical scientific term was a scumbag. And so, yeah, they actually voted him out.
I like the thing that finally brought him down was the fact that he spent congressional money on OnlyFans.
I know what the... Listen, I am for OnlyFans and all matters of sex work, but don't use the people's funds for that, Lord.
It was under $10, and it's like, really, all this other stuff he's done, and OnlyFans is the thing
Yeah,
that finally gets
sure.
him. But remember, it's important to know that he started World War I, ended World War II, all while running in to save people during the 9/11 attacks.
It's true, which is amazing. He had that much time while going into space.
And was the third person on the moon.
Exactly. It's almost too easy. It's that dumb. He is that dumb, I should say.
If only that he were an American folk hero, because it would be easy to spin those exaggerations about him.
He's not?
He is not.
Okay, just checking.
Oh, where did
No,
James go?
they took James. Sometimes he gets summoned by Satan.
I'm sure my spirit brother has uses for him.
Ramen.
And I'm sure if you're not Mormon, you wouldn't get that reference.
Well, that's funny, Mark. We were just about to send them over, but then again, here, okay, I'm sending so much love to Mark Reid.
Hey.
Mark, we are skeptic and ranting on Poof or Drown.
Oh, good.
We
Someone
are-
who's more interesting than I am.
That's not true. What are you talking about? Come on now.
But we are ranting on Poof or Drown. And what are your thoughts about either the thought experiment, Noah, or anything we've been talking about?
Yeah, so I just ended my stream, so I didn't see it, but I presume it's like, why didn't God just poof everybody
Yeah,
into
and so
non-existence? Yeah, I've
God
heard
comes to you and says, listen, remember that whole Noah thing? Great. We wanted to like have a sequel. Now, are you going, and it has to be you, are
Yes.
you going to poof everyone out of existence, or are you going to drown everyone? I think there's logical implications for both that are
Sure.
bad, but at least for the theist perspective, what do you think? Poof or drown?
Well, for a start, I don't think I'm interesting. I just bedazzle everybody with the light off my head. That's my secret, and now you know. So if you want to shave your head and bedazzle everybody, that's fine. I'm totally cool with that. So look, am I me in this scenario, or am I the classic God? Am I omniscient?
So
Am I
you
omnibenevolent?
are, I guess you can have whatever you would like, but in this scenario, you're just an average person, and that's right. You're just an
Congratulations.
average person, but God is coming to you saying, I really need you to make the decision this time.
Oh, poof, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's less suffering that way if I'm just me
Exactly.
making the decision. Sure, yeah, absolutely.
I
I don't see
exactly.
why. Like, so, because I mean, the only reason why it's a problem is because of the classic triune God's sort of attributes of omnipotence, omnibenevolence, and omnipresence, right? So basically, you've got a lot of leeway to be able to accomplish anything in no time at all. There's no resources or whatever, but this isn't what we see of the God of the Old Testament. We see a lot of, well, I can't go and take this town, go take the town for me. You know, why couldn't God just displace them or create some other land, or, you know, why put them through these jumping through hoops? And sort of there, you know, there's that sort of verse about, you know, God can't possibly win against an army because they have iron chariots, and you're like, well, what's that got to do with anything? So I think that it's sort of the whole argument is that it undermines God's omnibenevolence or his omnipotence to either not be able to poof all these people into non-existence, or to, you know, do something else than drown them, or he's just mean and just wants to drown people, kind of thing. Like, he has the power to save them, he just doesn't feel like it. So
kind of a dick.
yeah, it's a bit of a dick move, absolutely. So I think that it sort of undermines those principles, but we've got to remember that omnibenevolence and omnipotence, they didn't come into effect until much later through this sort of transition. It was, God wasn't seen as omnipotent or omnibenevolent at that point. You know, it's just later on that's the attributes that he was given. So but yeah, if I had the supposed power of the, you know, classic God, I would certainly, you know, I probably wouldn't poof them at all. I'd probably, you know, make another planet and just put them on that to wipe themselves out, or, you know, have some sort of correctional institution planet. You know, with our understanding of the universe, I mean, what isn't possible for a god? Why do you have to kill people at
Re-education
all?
planet.
And I think Sinister said something
I mean,
adjacent, which is like,
yeah.
yeah, why, if you're a god and you have all these omnis, really just feels like you could be a little bit smarter. It feels
Yeah.
like you're kind of not that great of a designer.
And I mean, a rehabilitation planet smacks of communist China, but that's better than drowning all of them. You know, like that's better.
Listen, maybe he just got all the stones in the Infinity Gauntlet, and he was so set on drowning people that that's what he did.
Yeah, maybe that was, the resources wouldn't go around, so he had to drown everybody but 8 people. Sure. Good
Also,
one, Thanos.
this is probably just nothing other than a dialect difference between the countries. But is that how they pronounce omnipotent in Australia?
I don't know. It's how I'm pronouncing it today. I'm
What do you
feeling
say,
a bit scattered
omnipotent?
after my drink.
I mean, I thought it might just be an Australian thing. So
No, I don't think it is. I think it's just a mark thing. As per usual. I don't know. I pronounce a lot of words wrong because I read a lot, but I don't converse that much, if that makes sense. Like a lot of the words I mispronounce because I only read them.
You've never heard
It's
of
like it's like the mere opposite of American. We don't read books, so we just won't shut them. Anyway,
No,
what are we talking about?
Wow.
No. You got sending so much love, Ember. And I will say, even though Mark is here and I am queer, we are going to only go on for, I'll add 15 more minutes to the clock, but we're looking for, because we just hit hour 2, we want to give it a chance for any opposing force. If you think that the Noah story is good, or you think that there's an answer, I think Mark really hit the nail on the head, which is you need to poof. And if you need to poof, then that just brings up the question of why did you have to drown people to begin with?
Well, I think there's a distinction that needs to be made here. Whether I think the story is good depends on whether I think it's morally good or if it's a well-written story. Now, as a story translated into English, it's not terrible. It's not the best story I've ever read. I think the story of Job, as horrible as it is a much better written story.
Yo, I just got pointed that story out to me. That's a very weird story. That's the Satan and God make a bet, which, first of all, right off the bat is kind of weird because God's gambling, right? Where this is two people making a bet.
Well, it makes a lot more sense if you look at in the Jewish tradition of who Satan was, or Satan.
It's just a demon instead of just like
no. Satan was the accuser. So in the sort of Jewish tradition, Satan was the one that went around and accused people of betraying God or not believing in God. He was like a prosecutor kind of thing.
That was his job.
Right, that was his job. So he would go around and say, hey, that person is falsely, sort of worshipping God, or would accuse people of not being faithful to the Lord. So he was kind of like God's prosecutor, essentially. He would accuse people of breaking the law. And so when you look at it in that context, it makes a lot more sense that Satan goes, oh, well, Job's only worshipping you because he's got a good life. Like, in that context, he's doing exactly his job. He's accusing somebody of not really worshipping God, but only pretending to because he's had a good life. And so he says, well, if you took everything away, then he would refute you and curse your name, kind of thing. God goes, no, I don't think he would. But in that context, so if you look at it in the context that you're saying with a bet, let's go a step further, right? And look at a context of the bet. God knows the outcome of that. So God's not only made a bet, he's made a bet that he's cheating at because he already knows the outcome.
That's true.
Why would the devil make a bet with somebody? He knows full well that God apparently is omniscient. He knows the outcome of any situation. Why would you make a bet with that person?
Yeah, that's kind of the worst person.
Why would you rebel against that person? Try to depose that person?
Yeah, sure. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, why would you, obviously you've got somebody that knows the outcomes of all events, and you know full well they know. Why would you rebel at all? You know that you're going to lose.
We already know that the house sucks and almost always wins, and it's like going to a house where we know that they have all of the hands.
It's like, we're going to have
they've already determined the outcome.
That Satan knows he's going to lose. He knows he's going to lose beforehand. Why the theatrics? Unless it's
Also,
God making him do it just for the theatrics of it.
Also, if I recall correctly, the Book of Job is not meant to be a literal thing. It's like a novel that was written back then. It was designed to have a point, but it wasn't designed to be a true story.
Sure, and a lot of those stories. I mean, almost all a
Yeah.
good swash of Jewish lore is just mythology.
Sure. But the problem is that people don't see it that way. That's the problem. You know, the fundamentalists, I'm looking at you guys, you see it as a literal thing that happened, you know, like this thing actually happened. So I guess that's why we talk about it in that way. Because if people are telling us it happened, we have to point out all the ridiculous entailments that has, right? That yeah, Job was given all these replacement children. What about his other children? Like,
Don't worry about that.
They're just
We'll
dead.
give you
Don't
neutral,
worry about
better children. They're better than the originals.
Did any of you see season 2 of Good Omens?
I did, yes.
They had an interesting
Yes.
take on that story.
Yes, they did. And I must say, I adore David Tennant, but the Angel guy really outdid him. Like, it's not often you get David Tennant being outacted by somebody, and he was amazing. I loved him so much. I can't remember the guy's name. I'll look it up. Yeah, Good Omens is a great show. It was a good book, but I think the show is actually worth to watch. Michael Sheen was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I heard it was very good. I oddly just looked into it. I haven't watched it, but I've been looking for new series.
Yeah, they occasionally make it. I mean, it's an angel and a demon that have just been around. First of all, you should read the book. There's only one of them, so
yeah,
the second season's not based on anything other than Neil Gaiman continuing it. And and occasionally they'll make these biblical references, like in the first season, you see they go to Noah's Ark, and there's like, and actually they bring up, it's like, the angel, I think it brings up the whole world? Or no, the demon brings up the whole world? It's like, well, not the Native Americans, the Hindus, basically everywhere but the Middle East.
Yeah.
And I forget and then, of course, the demon asks why, and I don't remember what his answer is, but
Crowley is Crowl.
Crowley, yes.
Yeah.
And then there's a scene where they're at the cross, and David Tennant's character asks, it's like, what did he say that got them all riled up? And the angel, what's the angel's name? Azrael?
Afrael.
Afrael says, be nice to people. And Crowley's like, that'll do it. And then it's like,
Is Aziraphale, I think his name was. Yeah.
Good advice.
Really, really cool.
And then Crowley mentions that he met him and showed him all the nations of the earth. To which the angel asks why. It's like, well, he's a kid from Galilee. His travel opportunities are limited.
Yeah.
Because the whole point that Crowley isn't all that evil, and when it comes down to it, Aziraphale is not all that nice either.
Yay, because Gray.
Well, the book was written by Terry Pratchett, who is one of my favorite comedy authors. Absolutely master of the pun. Rest in peace, Terry Pratchett. Just amazing author. And
Sir Terry Pratchett.
Sir Terry Pratchett, yeah, exactly. He was knighted. And Neil Gaiman, who's one of my favorite sort of occult authors too. Like, he is amazing. He wrote American Gods, and Neverwhere is the first book that I read that by Neil Gaiman, and it's a fantastic book about sort of a supernatural side of London. Just absolutely fantastic. So he also wrote the text for what's that one that's come out recently? It was based on a graphic novel, The Sandman, right? So he wrote The Sandman graphic novels, but of course he didn't do the illustrations, just the text, which were fantastic graphic novels. It's just been adapted into a series, which was really good. But those two together, so one's a sort of dark occult sort of writer, and the other is a just hilarious comedian. It makes a really good mix. I really did like that book. but they play a lot with good and evil and what it means to be good and evil. And is, sometimes you're sitting there going, wow, like even though the angels are being holy and righteous, they are way worse than the demons, like way worse. And so the two, the angel and demon of the story are kind of just independent. They're kind of just, sitting on Earth going, well, we don't really, like, we've got our side, but we don't really support them, kind of thing. They're just doing their own thing. I think it's wonderful.
Well, I think one of the points is that, first of all, they have the ineffable plan that they keep referring to, and if you're quoting it in the first book,
knows. Yeah,
it comes down to it's when they're fighting and trying to arrange Armageddon. They're like, yes, that's the plan, but is it the ineffable plan?
Yeah.
Because they realize they don't know.
Well, they don't know because they can't know. It's ineffable.
Yeah, it's unknowable.
Yeah, it's unknowable. But how do they know that it's the right plan if it's unknowable? That's the contradiction. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love it.
Well, I think the way the books in the series are going is that the ineffable plan is to realize that good and evil are both needed, and that was God's intent all along.
Okay. I don't know. That's a good hypothesis, though.
Well, it's just a literary interpretation, and those
Yeah.
those are a lot freer than math proofs or math problems.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I think it does have has a lot of really good stuff in it. It's good things in it, and I love them as a couple. Is just so amazing. Like they fit so well together, completely opposite yet complement each other. It's beautiful. Wow, so with the lack of Theus, we're going to sit here and talk TV for the next 15 minutes.
Guess,
apparently.
yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
She was trying to lure him out there, but I guess they're not taking the bait.
Well, the other thing I can go.
Well,
Well, I did ask people to invite Kyle Adams in, but
who Kyle Adams?
The Mormon.
Which Kyle is that? Oh, yeah, Kyle. Yeah, I've debated him a couple of times. I don't think he'll come while I'm here. He's been at the receiving end of my debate a couple of times. The last one was a flat Earth debate, which was kind of hilarious.
Oh yeah, I don't think he'll be showing his face again.
What did he come over at some point?
No. Sinister's
No, he usually doesn't. His debate partner came to the after show and for that flat Earth debate, and he didn't. He doesn't go to any after shows. He doesn't sort of engage with people outside of the flat Earth community, as far as I know. I mean, he does do debate people, but he doesn't really sort of engage with people in a discussion outside of the flat Earth community. So maybe you should go over to the flat Earth one. Maybe.
I can only take one form of cognitive dissonance at a time.
Okay, that's fair. That's completely fair.
And Kyle Adams reminds me what I was like as a Mormon.
Oh, really? How so?
Because if he would just get himself permission to start looking at things that aren't church sanctioned, he might discover the history is not what he's been told it is.
Yeah.
Because the Mormon Church has excommunicated members of its own ranks for writing truthfully about church history.
Sure has. And the weirdest one is how they sort of say, oh, well, Joseph Smith was martyred for, speaking the truth and all this stuff. And no, he was going around destroying printing presses and stuff of papers that had written unfavorably of him. That's why he was, yeah.
You only destroyed a printing press.
No, yeah, but he still did it.
Or rather, he set his militia upon the printing press to do it.
Yeah.
And if anyone looks...
Yeah, he was involved as well, I think. But the whole point was they went to arrest him and he fought being arrested. He wasn't martyred. He broke the law. In fact, he broke the First Amendment, which is crazy, because the press is protected under the First Amendment, and then he fought when they tried to arrest him for it. It wasn't his first arrest either.
Yeah, Mormon history is just bizarre if you look at it.
No, it's not more bizarre than the story they give. I mean, I've seen like the cartoon explaining Mormonism is so funny. It's hilarious
As much
and
as I
slightly
love,
racist.
as much as I love the South Park cartoon, it still gets a lot wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think the Scientology one was funnier.
Oh, the Scientology one like caused Chef to quit and stuff. Like, and plus, you know, Scientology. I think if there's one religion we know is just total crap at Scientology. Like we know that and Mormonism is the two that we absolutely sure are not real.
Well, I mean, there was the line. It's like Tom Cruise is in my closet and he won't come out.
Yeah.
But South Park has a huge number of problems on its own without that. So. Plus, at this point, it's like 20 years old, and it's clear the creators have gotten tired of the characters.
I haven't watched South Park for quite some time, actually. I must admit. I used to watch it fairly often, but I haven't for a while. I think it's sort of past its date, as well as like The Simpsons is so past its date. They should end it, but that'll never happen.
No, The Simpsons itself predicted when The Simpsons would end.
Did it?
Yes, at such time
a couple times they were going to end The Simpsons. But...
No, in an early episode, they have Troy McClure, who was voiced by Phil Hartman, which tells you how long this this was.
Yeah.
Said The Simpsons would continue until such times as it becomes unprofitable.
Well, yeah, we knew that already. That's not exactly a predict. That's not exactly prophecy or anything. That's how all television shows work. Well, most of them, anyway.
You know, sometimes they're canceled for other reasons. Like, no one's really sure why Netflix canceled Inside Job after its second season, but...
I don't think I caught that one.
It's Netflix animated comedy done by the creators of Gravity Falls.
Oh, yeah. No, I did catch that. The conspiracy theory one. Yeah.
All conspiracy theories are true, but not in the way you think.
Right.
Like, we did fake the moon landings, but that's because we went to the moon and the astronauts started a sex colony.
Maybe some people were taking it seriously. Like, they're actually telling us. I could even imagine that happening, like some conspiracy theorists going, no, they're actually telling us the truth and making it into a cartoon. So we just believe that it's fake, but it's in actual fact they're telling us the truth. I could see somebody doing that.
Except the one conspiracy theory that isn't true is Flat Earth. Because it's hollow.
Because it's hollow, yeah.
Listen, it's shaped like a pizza.
Pizza.
And then you find out...
Simon Dan put out this amazing short. It was like he kept the camera fixed and let the Earth rotate around it. So good. So good. Have you seen that?
No, I mean, I try to limit the Flat Earther content to YouTube only. Like, I've just started blocking Flat Earthers when they show up on my feed on Twitter because it's like, listen, this is only for me to laugh at on YouTube. I don't need to see it elsewhere.
Oh,
Send
no, it's just
so much,
just
Holen.
what he did. Like, it's just the thing that he did that was really cool. It was really cool. I put it in private chat.
Yeah, it's just a
time
motion.
Really cool.
It's time-lapse photography.
Yeah.
I don't know if my cameras can do that.
Also, I will say 5 more minutes, ladies and gents, and then we are going to head over to our outros. But it has been a lot of fun. We have been Skeptic and Ranting on Poof or Drown.
Oh, it's a YouTube short, and I don't watch those.
Oh, well, it's worth a watch. Like, if you want to show it, I don't know if the monetization is a problem. I hope not.
No, I just find YouTube shorts annoying.
Oh.
It's like
it's really awesome. It's really awesome. Can I put it in chat?
Yeah, you did.
I might put it.
Yes, you can, because I believe you're a mod.
Disciple Day. No, I like Disciple Day. Disciple Day is cool.
Sending so much love, Chris. It's awesome that you're visiting family, though. I hope everything is going well with your family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well-
Happy holidays or Merry Christmas or whatever you're celebrating, and yeah.
It is 3 days before New Year's Day, so
Gosh, no one ever says it's 3 days grace anymore, but okay.
Do people say that?
They do if you like a really good 90s band.
Okay.
I'm just making really bad dad jokes. It's okay.
Nice.
they
Hey, I
could be
like
mom
really bad dad
jokes.
jokes.
Exactly.
listen, if I listen to 90s grunge music, I'm in danger of reaching Nirvana.
See?
No.
And it will be a Green Day.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, tip your waitress. And also tip your cats.
Speaking of which, I need to. I need to clean his litter box out. I think there's something else I need to do.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Remember to scoop, because I'm pretty sure that we say that they are our pets, but I'm pretty sure that if we are picking up their poop, then we're trained and not the other way around. But hey, we have been Skeptic Ranting on Poof or Drown. But I'm going to hand it off to our lovely panelists because they're going to have their final say in what they're doing on the interwebs. It has been fun in the lack of sun, and we didn't get drowned or poofed. So with that, we're handing it over. Mark, you were the latest to join us, which means you are the first to go. We are going into outro. In fact, Skeptic and Ranting outro. We are poofing or drowning tonight, or rather, that's the subject we've been talking about. Noah, or the option of whether you would poof or drown and the implications of such. Had a lovely time with you as always. What you got going on? Because I know there is a stream that they should all check out. And what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I think the poof or drown thing. There's no real reason if you're an omnipotent god. I think that and plus it's just a myth. It's just a myth that sort of tried to tell a story. There's older myths describing it. There's the Epic of Gilgamesh. There's the Atrahasis. There's these older myths describing this sort of flood that happened, and they always get bigger and more grandiose as time goes on, and that sort of makes sense. That makes sense. Maybe a farmer somewhere rescued a few of his herd of cattle and sheep and goats and things, and by the time it got to retelling, it was every animal in the world. So I think we all kind of understand that. But yeah, if given the situation, if there was I had unlimited power and I had the choice between drowning and poofing, I would definitely poof, because why wouldn't you? It would be a lot easier, a lot quicker, and wouldn't have as many people dying suffering, and that would be what a god would be after. But I'm on the internet doing just random stuff. I'm doing on Fridays, that's Australian Fridays, which is Thursday night in America, just to make it even more confusing. I'm doing fundamentalist fails. I'm doing a review coming up over on Ember's channel, which Ember is awesome, and where we usually do reviews of debates. So yeah, that's over on Embers, and I'll get a link for you actually. So, and that will be Saturday night Eastern time, or my Sunday morning, which is cool. It's Mike Lacona versus Dan Barker, and Dan Barker is always amazing to see. He's just amazing. So that's one of my favorite debaters of all time. So I'll get that for people. There we go. And that's over on Ember's channel. But thank you so much, Amy. It's been great to see you. I'm trying to drop in more kind of thing when I see you on. I think notifications are really bugged, to be honest with you. I'm not sure
that might be true.
Like, I feel like I get better notifications when I turn the bell off, but I know that's not true. That's just me being petty and vindictive. So do hit that bell. Do like and subscribe. And yeah, I thank you for having me on. It's been a blast, and a blast to talk to your paupers. You know, just discuss TV and stuff is awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
Shame we couldn't get more people in, but and Mark, are you telling me that a website that runs on millions of lines of code might be a little bit buggy on some points? I find that hard to believe.
There is no complete code.
But thank you so very much, Mark. It was lovely having you on. And yeah, I mean, I completely agree, Sinister. What I think is happening is, I swear, they are scuttling into, and I mean creationists, they want to be on very safe ground. And I think of like very specific presuppositionalists, they just don't want to leave where they can't ban people. But I find that, we'll just have to keep on doing lots of open houses and having the availability to have people to say, hey, this Abrahamic religion thing is really good. Though we have always our friendly skeptic theists in the channel and stuff. Not them. I mean the people that think that we are the downfall of civilization. And it's always the downfall of civilization somehow, every other day. Anyway, let's get to Sinister. She is next up in line. Sinister Porpoise, we are Skeptic Ranting, Poofing, or Drowning. What are your thoughts about the topic or anything we've been doing? Where can people find you, and what are your final thoughts?
You mean trans people aren't the downfall of civilization?
What?
I'm pretty sure I've got tons of information about that on my Twitter feed.
Ben Shapiro says otherwise.
Listen, when Ben Shapiro decides to come out as the trans man he actually is, people will be there for him.
I also have guides if he needs help on, him and his wife. There's books out there. Anyway, Sinister.
In any case, I am the Sinister Porpoise. When you think of Sinister Porpoises, think of the Sinister Porpoise. For the last couple of days, I've just been streaming Baldur's Gate 3 because it was one of the gifts I got for Christmas. It's an awesome game, but usually video game streams don't attract a lot of people, and no one knows my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/SinisterPorpoise77.
They do now.
My YouTube channel isn't active currently for reasons that have to do with my current job and the fact that I may be interpreting something a little too strictly, but it's better just not to have the issue in the first place. I am thinking about possibly coming back and doing like a video channel with pre-recorded videos where I can get a little higher quality on math and computer science topics, but when that happens, some relevant people will know. And I may want to address people like Jason Lyle who think fractals prove God.
What?
In any case, Poof or Drown, well, here's the thing. It was probably, like someone said, a regional flood that got blown way out of proportion, and the story just got handed down over generations. But even just making all the people disappear is probably too extreme if you're going to insist you have an omnibenevolent entity. And it's usually the omnibenevolent entity that causes the problems in these scenarios logically. Because unless you're going to make a utilitarian argument for getting rid of these people, which I'm sure you may be able to do, just murdering thousands of people and animals who did not participate in whatever you found objectionable is not a good act. But with that being said, be excellent to each other, and so long, and thanks for all the fish.
Ooh, thank you so very much, Sinister. You should go check that out, and I think you should make content about science and math. I think they would be awesome. And, countering other silly apologetics like fractals proving God. Well, here we go for Sinister Porpoise Gaming Channel right here. Thank you so much, Regos.
Thank you, Regos.
Twitch.tv/Sinister Porpoise 77, but it's also up on your screen. Woohoo! And all right, James.
I'm not gonna
James
say
W. There we go. There is his ending.
No, thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. It was a interesting discussion. Thanks, everybody. We love you guys.
Woohoo! Thank you, James. We love you too.
Gizmo didn't
And
even wake up for the show. He's been sleeping the whole time.
Gizmo's passed out. That's okay. The producer works
passed out.
hard. He can pass out.
Yeah.
And we all deserve cat naps. All right. Well, I do want to thank all of you out there on, I'm trying to think, actually, you should all go check out, I've had 2 recent modern day debates, which is kind of crazy. Go check out the evolution and the abiogenesis one. Mark has had many fantastic modern day debates. You should go checking out him. I can English? I can English. You should go check him out on there, and there are many great atheist content. I'm trying to think, just to give a shout out, you go check out Mark Reid Atheist. You should go check Atheist Junior. You should go check out Bree. Is either, I don't know, does anyone know if she's still live right now? It looked like she was live.
It looks like she is.
If she is, then we're sending them off to Bree, to which everyone should go to Hive Psi. So sending love
she's
to
still live.
the line,
She's still
sending
live, yeah.
love to the ACA.
Did you want to do a redirect? Do you have redirect on?
Yes, or I have no idea. All I know a redirect is where I just say it, but is there like an actual redirect?
Yeah. So it's a setting you have to turn on in your YouTube settings, and you allow redirects from other channels. And then you can edit your video while it's in motion, like while you're live, and choose a channel to redirect to.
Gotcha.
I can find out where it is if you need to.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that. I may have to do that for the next one.
The atheist community is kind of just trying to let everybody know so we can just redirect to each other and keep it great.
Yeah, it's almost because we have this extended family community thing.
Dr. Dino up there. Good to see
because I'll keep on saying it. What's up, Dr. Dino? Is that we have to have an alternative to many of the good things that.
So, are you in your studio?
Yes, or at least I was. Give me 1 second. Yes.
Yep. Go to settings down the bottom left.
I'm with you. Channel. Community. Oh, here I am. Community. Here we go.
Yep,
all
and then
channels
down.
Can redirect. So I guess all channels can redirect to my content, but how do I redirect to someone else's content?
Oh, that's in editing the video. You just sort of, if you're in content, just go to your live and edit it.
Hold on. This is the most I will say.
Well, it has to be done while live, so yeah.
Oh, really? It has to be done while live?
Well, you can do it beforehand, but for the moment, if you want to redirect from this one, it has to be. It's in the
come on.
I think it's in customization.
Customization. Stream, live chat, replay. Redirect. Boom, I found it. All right, search videos from other channels. Weasel in the Hive. Yes. Boom. Mark, you are amazing.
Oh, thank you. You're pretty amazing. Oh, I wanted to do a big congratulations. I saw your debate against Sal and Taylor on Grayson's channel. Absolutely awesome. Awesome. That question you gave about sort of experiments that creationists have done. Just the silence afterwards was just, and then Taylor going, yeah, I don't really want to get into that. And it's like, yeah, I bet you don't. I bet you don't want to get it. No, beautiful. I mean, Grayson really knew everything, but some of your questions were just incredible.
They seem not to have any alternative to science, and Grayson was amazing. I will say that he was ready and raring.
Yep.
Woo-woo! JavaScript jQuery. But I will say,
amazing. You pinned them on that lack of alternatives, though. Like you.
Thank you so very much.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Just
and I mean, Sal, I got to give a big congratulations for Sal, who has recently graduated the Dr. Tour School of yell and rant incoherently at people until they agree with him out of sheer embarrassment.
Is that new, or like I've never seen Sal? I was like, I had to not get into comedian mode, but like there were certain moments he was yelling. I kind of just had to like.
Yeah, he's obviously been told like he needs to be more aggressive, like he needs to.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he's seeing Dr. Tour and seeing the numbers that Dr. Tour brings in, and he's basically just copying him because that is straight out of the yeah, Dr. James Tour. He did the debates with Professor Dave, right? And he did the debate with Lee Cronin on abiogenesis. So he did a couple of debates, but that's his thing. He yells and, sort of does this really weird kind of, it's ridiculous kind of thing. So Sal's just copying him. I'm sure
Sal's just self-replicating.
All right. Sal, I don't know if you're listening, but James Tour did not come off Dr. Tour, and he does have a legitimate PhD in chemistry. Yes. Did not come off really very well during that debate.
No, he did not. He came off looking like a crazed man in both of them, actually. He was apologizing in the second one for sort of his attitude, because that is not the stance you want to take when you're in sort of Harvard doing a serious debate.
And also, the reason I brought out the JavaScript book is in case anyone thought Amy's book was an outlier. They are that thick.
Yeah. Also, that's what she said. But it is. That's what she said. This is the type of high bar comedy. All right. Epistemology, etymology, girl deck jokes. But yes.
I think I only used that phrase once, and it was after someone said in one of my computer science classes that they were going to fill this fill this empty hole with bitter disappointment.
Oh.
But it's okay. We're filling all of your cups.
Amy fills holes and she gets holes filled.
That's right. Well, you were talking about serving God's glory, and all I could, does that mean God has a possibility that God has a glory hole?
Well, I mean, if the universe is infinite, then everything that can exist does. So, it would have to be somewhere out there. Yeah, God would have to have a glory hole. You have to have a planet full of glory holes, actually. Yeah.
James, there's a planet out there for me. What were we tangenting off of?
Finally, where you can be home. You're home, Amy.
Amy Newman, if you want a religion that gives you your own planet, I can tell you about one.
Oh, goddess. That's very true.
Yeah.
The Mormons.
I wish that wasn't true. Yeah.
I still look fondly to the. I can't believe I did, but had Mormons over for like in my opinion, it was a dinner date. They were coming over to try and convert me, but me and Sam from a long while ago, we had like an interview. Instead of an interview with a vampire, we had like an interview with a Mormon, where we came prepared with way too much data than I think they're used to with someone that they're sitting down with, and they had these big doughy eyes and. Well, hopefully they're atheists now. I kid.
The mission is designed to get people invested in the religion so they don't leave.
Oh, right.
Generally. Although its initial purpose was to get men out of the way so Joseph Smith could.
Yo, it's so many wives. Like a mo amount of wives. Like so much wives. Does anyone know how many wives? Because I listened. But like
Isn't
James,
it like
Mark,
70 or something?
take a what? Yeah. Oh my God, you hit it faster than I thought. But like most people guess like 4 wives, 5 wives.
Oh,
But
no.
it is well past 40. Well
The number-
past 40 wives. How
The,
is
num-
that?
the number of wives Joseph Smith had is not actually known. There are good evidence for 4 of them at least.
Good evidence for that mofo was sleeping around when, you know, what's the Playboy guy?
Hugh Hefner?
Hugh Hefner. There was Hugh Hefner and there was like Joseph Smith. They were like kind of competition. Maybe not at the same time, but in different ways.
Well, and it's not just the amount; it's also the ages of them that was a real problem.
Well, that's yeah. He had a Muhammad problem. What's with the third religions and liking little girls?
Well, I
Yes,
mean, Amy, once you've married
Not
all the
us,
adult
POS.
women, there's no other women of age to marry. You've got. I mean, what are you going to do at that point?
Listen, one of my
I
favorite
know,
scriptures of all time is the Doctrine and Covenants, section 132. Especially the line, after he's caught sleeping with one of their servants and announces what is now called celestial, or the principle, where he commands his first wife, Emma Smith, to accept polygamy or be destroyed.
Yeah. That's
Yes,
pretty
he had to
horrible.
Yes, I was see. I don't know why. I've been listening to podcasts about that. Yes, he very specifically had a conference when his wife found out. He had to make scripture, right, about polygamy. And he quickly went and he had like this thing made so that he can then convince his wife. And she must have been sitting there like, oh yeah, you saw. Oh yeah, oh it said that in the book, huh? It says right in the book, have a 5-some.
Yeah. Reformed Egyptian, yeah.
in perfect.
You can read it if you can read
That's
it,
right.
but you can't read it.
And it's a shame. James and myself, I think Porpoise and Mark as well. We're all experts in Reformed Egyptian. It's a shame that his wife wasn't
Fluently.
fluent. I have been
Speak
speaking
fluently.
it since the day before I was born. Well, I was trying to. I can
I think
outro.
Curry comes on and speaks Reformed Egyptian.
I think the script is the same as APL, Amy.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. It goes.
Did you,
Did you know that genes are like genetics? No. Did you know the gene is like information? What?
No.
No, it's
But
not.
you get a doctorate now in Reformed Egyptian.
I bet you can get it done. Oh my God. You could get it at the
Patriot Bible.
well. I was gonna say, what the hell is there? Not Brigham Young University.
Hence,
Brigham Young University is actually
Brigham Young.
accredited.
I know. I was gonna say all that. That's probably an actual real school. Because
you could go to the linguistics department and ask about Reformed Egyptian and get laughed at.
Yeah.
all right, but yes, we in this episode of Skeptic Ranting, we talked about Poof or Drown. This is James. Did you know I may have ADD? You may.
That
Where we talked about Doug's philosophical experiment where we asked ourselves if God were to kill everyone one more time, for old time's sakes, just like he did in the days of Noah, would you poof them out of existence or drown them for a good time worth poofing into or drowning? Though I do want to thank my co-host, James W., along with our panel, Mark and Porpoise, the very accredited Porpoise. We want to say congratulations to her.
Congrats.
Woo-hoo. So go check out all of her amazingness. Go check out Mark's amazing content. And also thank you to the people in chat, our awesome mods who make the stream so great, and lovely viewers like you who make this channel even possible. Please don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. It does help in the algorithm. Yes, the algorithm.
It does.
And Sunny
Gore's
share Al Gore's rhythm. Did you know Man Bear Pig is true? He is real. Go check him out. So is pollution and the earth getting hotter.
No. I don't even know why you would think that.
Man Bear Pig? Oh, yes.
No, wait. Porpoise is with child.
Porpoise is with child? She is. She does. No, you have a fur baby that comes around. They are babies.
Well,
At
yes,
least it feels like it when I spend money on them.
the adopted child is sleeping on my chair right now. And by adopted
As they
child,
do.
I mean cat.
They tell Amy
Nice,
she
man.
can't get pregnant, but that doesn't stop her from trying. So,
James, that's right. I always say it's the attempt that matters. The attempt.
hey, don't give up. Don't give up.
Don't give
Just
up.
keep on
Exactly. Just keep on trying. I don't think that's even the right beat, but thumbs up. What was I going to say? Awesome mods, people like you sharing. We hope we're tucking you into bed or waking you up. One of them. Then hit that bell icon to all so you can join our live streams or see our premieres. Like sending love to everyone who is in chat. Send hi at the end and I'll try and get you up on screen. Or hey, why not leave a comment once the video is done? After the show, Skeptic and Ranting Discord server opens up for even more fun, the link of which is in the description below. If you would like to be vetted by Titan, but then become an admin of the Discord, I do need some more people to become active and hand out or help me figure out a system of experience that hands out ranks and stuff like that, gamify it. So please either reach out to me, but yes,
You can get the Discord API.
is it just a bot, right, that just hands out stuff? Though there are other people I'd still like to be involved. Well, I still need someone to, I guess, help me set that up, or I guess I just need to look at it. It's just a bot that you install and it helps set up different levels, because I think it was Titan and MathPig that helped me set up the Discord.
There might be bots that do it, or you could write your own.
What is Discord written in? Okay.
I know there's a Python API for it.
Ooh.
Yes.
I'll get Rachel to write me something.
Because I need to
Right.
redo.
Python.
I need
I
to
do
the
love
score.
reaching for Pythons.
There's actually a Discord bot writer on Steam as well.
I need to rewrite the Squirrels Against Porpoise bot I did because the API changed.
That sounds.
Amy's thinking
Actually,
about the squirrels from Rick and Morty.
Squirrels.
There's a story
Oh,
behind
my
that, but it's
goodness.
not worth telling here.
And
That
yet
was really funny.
I love that. Just for whatever reason, canonically within Rick and Morty, the squirrels are global.
You don't mess with the squirrels.
You don't mess with the squirrels. They control global economies and planets, and they orchestrate basically, everything going on with the world. Anyway, the link of which is the Discord description below, along with all of our fantastic channel members. That's right. We have badges that just naturally evolve along with our emojis, and you can get it there in Trigger Creationist by hitting the join button. You could have sent a super thanks. Wait, no. You could have sent a super chat, but if you're watching this on the upload, you can send a super thanks and we'll thank you. Lastly, the best way to help us and get around all of the red tape. This is also, I'm going to keep on saying it. This is the part where I'm supposed to be like, oh, the internet has us down because it bans all of my content. But no, you actually can say naughty words. Say naughty words. You can be politically incorrect. You can do all this stuff. You just have to say actual information. It's that funny thing. You just don't have to spread when you don't spread misinformation or just make shit up. It's this amazing thing. The sponsors actually want to put their ads on your content. Once again, I know I feel like I'm shilling for the man. I might as well be licking a boot right now, but you know, I don't know what to say.
You woke
Maybe
up.
that's just my experience. I think I could ask the other skeptic content creators. But anyway, now I'm ranting. That is patreon.com/AV I'm AV Newman. This is our lovely panel. James W. and myself. We'll see you all on the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z. Good night, everyone. Mwah. It's
Find the button.
yes, there we go. It did it.